Welcome back, everybody, to the Deconversionists with your hosts, Alan Bondar, Elliot Christopherson. So great to be back with you again. And tonight, we have a very special episode. We have with us the invisible Neil Bernstein. He will be here very shortly. He got stuck in some traffic. So we're going to just wait until he shows up to talk to him, obviously. Because it would not benefit us much to talk to him at this point. So we're going to focus our attention on our other special guest, Mikey Famine. Mikey, great to have you tonight, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mikey is specifically, he works for the Bin Podcast Network. He does, it's more like a political podcast. So we'll encourage you to go check that out. He has his own YouTube channel as well. It's at Mikey Famine. So you can check that out. And then, of course, the 604 Atheist, which Neil is the guy who started that channel. And then Mikey came on board as a tremendous asset to Neil and basically runs everything behind the scenes, my understanding, and makes sure the thing runs smooth. So it's a great show, and I'll encourage you to do that. They basically do a lot of deconversion stories is what's going on there, and it's a lot of fun. I got to do one not too long ago. It was a blast. And then they do an after party, and it's a lot of fun. Now, when I last Friday, when Ellie and I were doing our show, I was talking about this episode. I was talking about how you and Neil were going to be on, Mikey, and I kept talking about the 605 Atheist because for some reason,
I don't know where that is.
I don't know. All excited.
And Elliot got all excited because he was like, "Oh, I know where that is." I'm like, "I don't know, man. I think it's Canada." And I don't know why I couldn't. I don't know why I was thinking 605. That was so ridiculous. I mean, that'd be like calling me the Unravelier. You know,
so where exactly is it?
Sioux Falls, Rapid City, Aberdeen in the building. No, Neil's up in BC, British Columbia, Vancouver.
Okay, so that is a Canadian zip code or a area code. Okay,
I think our area codes are the same, like integrated.
Yours and his.
America and Canada.
Oh, right.
Well, what do you know? We've already learned something.
Yes. We made phones first.
So we are excited to hear your deconversion story. We're going to flip the coin because I got to do it on your channel. And I think it's fun for people to hear yours. And maybe, I'm sure people have heard it in a lot of areas and spheres of your influence. But perhaps not on our viewers. And I would love for them to hear your story and maybe even throw in a couple of curveballs, things that maybe your viewers have never heard. That could be a lot of fun. So why don't you just take us from, birth and tell us what your story is, how you ended up in Christianity, and then how you got out.
Cool. So my story is kind of like, now that I've had the benefit of doing all these episodes with all these other people, now I have a more succinct, more like, streamlined version that I can tell people. So it's easier now. I'm a pastor's kid. Our faith was the Church of God in Christ. So that's like hyper fundamental, like Anabaptist, damn near Christian, like super Christian. Like my dad pulled my sisters out of gym class because they wanted them to wear shorts, and he was like, my babies ain't wearing no shorts. Like, we're talking like full on, like as fundy as you can get. And so that was my like very, very beginnings. And then like they split up, and then I'm with a stepdad, but he's also a minister. So then we're going to like, so it's been pretty much steady church since forever. Which is why, like, it's funny because as you grow older, you kind of realize you have a lot of like hangups on things, and you don't realize that you just think certain things are odd or not right. And it's because for as long as I can remember, men have to do this, women have to do this. Everybody is told this is how things are supposed to go. And you just kind of, okay. As far as like the myths and all that stuff, like in like high school and like reading all like because I used to get in trouble for everything. I was always grounded and told to go read the Bible and stuff like that. That was a mistake, because then you start reading, it's just like, yo, dude, what did Job do? Like, why is God just whooping the shit out of Job? Sorry, I don't know if I can curse. I don't know why he's just beating the crap out of Job right now for like no, and to prove what? I was like, man, sucks to be Job. Scroll, get more homework, get more punishments. But it's like, it didn't take long for me to realize, like, I didn't believe, and I'm a big nerd, so I love everything space and science. And well, this galaxy is 10,000 light years away, but you guys say that the universe is only 6,000 years old. That doesn't jive. Like, it's just like the little inconsistencies. And I think the first like Lucy specimen, that Homo erectus was found in Africa, and that was like 1999, 2000 or something like that. And I'm like, oh, cool, one of the missing links for our evolution. And then my stepdad just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, that's right, I can't say that, right, my bad. There's the rules. You can't talk about real science. You gotta just pretend like.
Hey, Mikey, just real quick, you can curse just in case it's an essential part of your story. I just want to make sure you have that freedom.
I'm in my office in a hoodie, so I kind of let loose.
Yeah, do it.
But it's let's see, where was it? Oh, so then like they split up too. I go off to live on my own, and I had no reason to go to a church. I had no reason to pray. Even when I was still kind of going to church, I would find that if I got scheduled to work on Sundays, my mom would just let me work, and I wouldn't have to go and get all dressed up. So I started asking to work on Sundays. Hi,
hey, everybody! It's the 605 atheist. Neil, great to have you, man. You missed it because I was telling everybody how last week on our show we were promoting this show and talking about it. For some reason, I had a brain fart and kept calling you the 605 atheist. And it's like really ridiculous. It's like calling me the Unravelier, right? That's like just so bizarre. So
what do you mean? You're not the Unravelier?
The Enraveler.
The Enraveler, yeah. So anyway, we went ahead and started out with Mikey's story. So he's in the middle of talking about his little journey here, especially with Lucy and learning about the bone. And that's not allowed in his religion, right? In Christianity.
But was she in the sky with diamonds? That's what I want.
Which was for a minute.
Yeah, man. I like the dude, man.
Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Neil is here, so we just wanted to say
Neil was late and he interrupted. It's his fault.
That's right.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Shame on you, Neil.
Well, apparently a truck that was going over the bridge apparently lost its load, and it was hazmat shit all over the place, so they had only one lane going. And I was like, fucking, it usually takes me 20 minutes to get home from work. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to get home from work.
Wow.
Man.
I would have just moved to the other side of the bridge. Like, I'm not sitting in this traffic. I live over here now. I start a new life on this side.
I'll just come in with my phone instead. There you
go. But Neil's heard this story probably a dozen times anyway. So I'm using work to kind of get out of going to church. Like, now I've moved out. Maybe for a couple of funerals, I'm not driving over to that building. I don't want to do any of that stuff. And then, I kind of kept some of the cultural stuff, some of the ideologies. And then eventually I just, started watching debates and just a lack of going. And I was just like, nah, I don't believe any of that shit anymore. And probably once I stopped like the fear of hell and like the worrying about seeing relatives in the future, like once I got over that stuff and got into like the history of Christianity, especially in America, in this country, yeah, hard pass. Never looking back. Don't keep that demon book away from me forever. Like, I've never been so offended that I was ever a part of that, considering the people who the progenitors of said religion in this piece of shit country. And that's it.
Did you just say that out loud?
That's the end. So, fuck the progenitors. I guess that's the message that we just we got from that.
Fucking Zero.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, that is Zero, Mikey's dog.
Free to a good home.
Yeah.
Golly.
The
kid's taking a nap and he's barking. It's like, come on, guy. And I'm doing a show. Come on, Zero.
Right.
Did you have any questions for moi?
I didn't. That was pretty clear.
What was it like coming out? Like, I imagine you came out to your family at some point when you had to just come clean about it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that was like?
I don't know if I ever did, but I think they always kind of figured, because I was never like the let me just raise my hands and walk to the front of the cathedral. I was always like, man, that guy has a sick bass. Man, you see that drummer? I think he's got Pearl Tom heads on there. So I was going because they made me go. And I think everyone could kind of tell, like, this isn't my thing. It's like, I won't be.
Were you out on your own when you officially left Christianity, or were you still living at home?
Was I on my own? Yes. I was like 21. 20.
So
21.
they didn't have to like personally witness what happened to you. You didn't have to come back home and be like, hey, I'm no longer a Christian and F you.
No, but they would be like, and even if they would invite me to church, they just kind of, or if I'm staying over somebody's house for a week or a weekend or something like that, and then they go to church. No, I'm not getting up and going. Like, it's just, don't expect that from me, because you should know better by now. I've shown literal to no interest in any of that for almost 20 years now. So it would be weird of them to invite me to church at this point.
Okay.
I share that. I find it weird. My family still asks me to come to their church events, but the adults in my family, like my sister and my mom, they don't ask anymore. They have the kids ask to come and come see my play or whatever, thinking that I'll have a heart when it comes.
It's like,
come support, right? Exactly. And I'm like, I can't. I just have no interest. And the thing is that I don't know why they use the kids to do that, or even let the kids do that, because they know my stance and they don't want me influencing the kids with atheism, obviously. So it's weird, because every time they ask me, I want to flat out say no, because I don't believe in that, and tell them why I don't want to go. But out of respect, I don't. But it's to a point where sometimes I'm just like, if you're going to keep having them ask me, I'm going to at some point say something, because that respect should go both ways. And it's a little unfair to put me on the spot like that and always make me uncomfortable telling my nieces and nephews no without giving them a decent reason other than, I can't make it. Like, it's just, so I have found that happening in my family, and I find that very frustrating. But
just roll your eyes into the back of your head, tongue down as far as you can go, and then gurgle Hail Satan. They'll stop asking.
Yeah.
They'll just stop talking to you altogether, and then the problem's solved.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, Mikey, thank you so much for that advice. I will utilize that. And if anybody else needs advice, there it is. Top notch.
I'm Neil the 604 atheist, and I approve this message.
Oh, man. Let's see. We got
not gargle you. Never mind.
A couple of comments here about Mikey's thing, and then we'll turn to Neil here. Let's see. Mikey McKinnon Marketing says, don't let Mikey lie to you. This man is the secret leader of the Girl Scouts cabal on a mission to possess people with the gay.
It's true.
McKinnon's only bringing that up because I'm the one who discovered that these Girl Scouts are making billions of dollars with no overhead.
Bro, that wouldn't surprise me, man. I was shocked.
They're just drop shipping cookies.
We had terribly cold temperatures over the last few weeks. I mean, it was dropping where it was feeling like -14 and stuff like that. It was really, really bad. And so, like, nobody's going to work. Nobody's going outside. Everything's frozen over. It's like, it's the worst thing. And here comes Girl Scouts knocking on the freaking door, selling Girl Scout cookies in this weather. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Time to pay your royalties.
It just made no sense to me. I can't even believe as a parent you'd let your kid go out and do that. Like, Girl Scout cookies, that like seems unessential. But
that's anyway. Protection. That's protection money. You got a nice place here. Looks like you could take some cookies.
Yeah.
It's a shame if something would have happened to that place.
Get a lot of cookies in a house this big.
So we're going to transition to Neil. McKinnon Marketing gives us an introduction. Neil will poison you with his Yeti powers. Don't let him take off his bandana. He will possess you. Don't take off your banana either. That's also very important. Yeti powers. Okay, well, why don't you woo us with your Yeti powers, Neil, and start from your birth as well, and tell us how you got in and how you got out. Tell us little details that maybe even people that have heard your story have never heard.
Get ready. I was born in October 20th, 1966. No, I was born to a Catholic couple that were unmarried back in 1966. So that being the case, and my grandmother, natural grandmother, was very religious, and so they were unwed. So it was very taboo to have a child when you're unwed. So I was put up for adoption, and I was adopted by a Jewish couple. So I was actually raised in Judaism. Up until the point, I did Hebrew school and learned all about the stories in the Bible, which I thought were ridiculous at the time. And I spent a lot of time in the hallway at Hebrew school because I was asking questions that the teacher couldn't answer. Like, how the hell did they get all the animals in the world on a boat? Like, how the hell fucking shit does that happen? One of the questions I asked that really bugged them, and I don't think I've mentioned this before, was, even they say that God is all powerful and all knowing and all that. Well, then why didn't he know ahead of time that Adam and Eve are going to eat from the tree of knowledge? Right? Like, why didn't he already know that? If he knew that was going to happen, which is the claim that he's all knowing, then the whole thing's a setup, in my opinion. And I said that once in school, and they didn't like that very much. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time in the hallway. Anyway, I come now to my bar mitzvah, and I'm reading my Haftorah, which is the Torah portion that you read when you turn 13. You can become part of the Minyaim, or whatever the hell they call it, where you are then now able to run a service if you wanted to, or if you had to. So I did all that stuff, read my Haftorah, and of course, you get all the gifts and stuff. Usually I got about 1,400 cross pens. So I'm still using them. No, I'm just kidding. But, so the whole time, though, I had issues with all of the whole belief system. I had issues with this whole God thing that nobody ever really seemed to be able to demonstrate to me was actually real. They just said, you just got to believe, you got to have faith, yada, yada. And, so somewhere in my teens, I kind of just lost interest in religion altogether, sort of thing. But then, I spent a couple of years in Israel. I graduated over there from high school. I was a pretty troubled kid in my early teens. So my parents were like, we'll send you to Israel. You can go live there for a year and do grade 11. It was grade 11 and grade 12 that I did over there. First, my thought was, wow, no parents for a whole year? Right on. Okay, cool. I'm in. So went over there, and I lived over there for first year, and then I liked it so much I went back for a second year. And I learned that a lot of the Israelis that I met over there weren't really religious either. I mean, as they got older, I guess some of them sort of fell into it a little more, but back then no one really cared. No one really talked about it. Just whenever the holidays would pop up, you'd get your time off, you go, you have your fun, you come back. And I just sort of didn't really believe in that stuff anymore.
Neil, can you pause for a second? It may have been that it was a glitch, or I just didn't hear it. Where is this, you said?
Israel.
It was Israel. Okay.
Yeah. This is in the early 80s, 82, 83, and 84. I was over there.
Okay.
It's very different there now, as we know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so coming back from Israel, I just didn't really do much in religion rise or any belief system. And then I started dating a girl that was Wiccan, so I started getting into the weird. I started the whole ghosts and UFOs and anything you could think of, that you would hear on the old Art Bell show that used to play late at night. And I got into all that kind of weird stuff and dated her, tried to do some spells, didn't quite work. So, I did one, and people kept trying to say, well, yeah, obviously it worked. And I had a ceramic bowl, and I put a silver dollar. I actually had a silver dollar, and put it in there, and caught the image of the moon over top, and said some chant or some prayer or something, and it was supposed to give me a boost in my money financial situation. Yeah. At the same time, I had put an ad in the paper to sell off my old VCR because phasing out of VCRs into DVDs at the time or whatever. or I got a new VCR or something like that, and I ended up selling it. So the girl I was dating was like, see, your financial situation improved. I said, not really. I mean, I put the ad in the paper, so clearly that was why, not the stupid spell. Anyway, so
all according to plan.
That's right. I was in that for quite some time, probably into my late 30s, where I was believing in a pseudoscientific kind of, astrology, all that nonsense. Somewhere in my 40s, I was like, nope, fuck this. This is all just bullshit. Hopefully I can swear. Is that okay? I guess.
I
said the same thing.
Yeah, Mikey said the same thing. I swore on your show. I hope that was okay.
Like the same curse.
Yeah, well, with us, it's like, I don't even, it's like, it's part of the vernacular. So
yeah, well,
we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
In the words of Professor Littlejohn.
So after that, after delving in all the paganism type stuff and feeling my way around there, the green man and the crone, the maiden crone, whatever bullshit, I just one day decided, you know what, none of this shit is real. I've tried, almost half my life to try and prove this stuff. People would poke fun at me for believing it, and I'd be like, oh yeah, well, here's this and this, and but that's not evidence, right? And then I got into the sciences. I am now a chemist, so I work for an environmental company, and I deal with chemistry type stuff. And that's one of the foundations of most sciences, is the elements and chemistry and stuff like that. And so I require demonstrable evidence to believe something now. So, and then at this point now, I decided I was going to use my voice after watching people like Seth Andrews, the Dillahunty Man, Jimmy Snow, other people on there that were using their voice to elevate this whole atheism voice, to get away from ridiculous beliefs and stuff like that. So I just decided after hearing some of these types of things on other shows, people telling how they found their way free, I said, I think that's interesting, and I really want to take that up. So I started a show, Deconversion Stories with Neil, the 604 Atheist. And after a couple of years of doing that, started racking up some episodes. I think we're almost at 600 or something episodes now.
Wow.
Couple of years into it, Mikey pops into my life, and I made him my co-host. Well, first he was sort of the producer, and then it just said, like, get in the show. What are you doing behind the scenes? Get in the damn show. So because he always had some cool shit to say, because I'd bring him in towards the end of the show, and he could introduce himself to the guests and whatnot.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and then I was like, you know what? Let's have you in here all the time, because I think it's best with the two of us, and it has been awesome since Mikey has actually joined full time. And we just keep on finding people that want to share their story. A lot of times I'll reach out, or other people reach out to me, and we continue to interview people about their journeys away from their previous beliefs. And we've had ex-gurus on the show in the world of pseudoscience and the new agey bullshit. We've had ex-white supremacists on the show. Well, one anyway so far. But and people that have left some kind of odd religions.
Amish,
Jainism, like Hemet Mehta used to be Jain, and he was on the show.
Anabaptists.
Yeah. And
Syrian Christians.
We had an interesting version of Christianity. It sounds like a country.
That's the Canadian version of Christianity.
When the evangelicals conquer Canada.
Yeah, that's what all our conservatives want to change the name of Canada to. Christianity.
If Alberta had their way.
If they had their way, they'd be their own fucking country. So, so we've heard some very interesting stories. We've heard a few, tearjerker type ones, because there's a lot of abuse in some of these belief systems. We've had some pretty, easy outs. We've had a few people on that weren't really ever in any sort of belief, but were approached by people to become part of a belief system. So we talk about all different angles of deconversion or deconstructing and stuff like that. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Well, I'm in a nutshell. How'd I get in here? Sorry.
We're too corny.
That's Mike Myers.
Another.
Are you guys also skeptics, or do you? Did you move on to some other kind of like spiritual but not religious, whatever you want to call it?
Honestly, Elliot, I don't even know what the fuck that means. People
I
say,
don't
"Oh, I'm
either.
spiritual but not religious." Like, oh,
Well,
what do
we've
you
had
mean
we've had a
then?
few people on recently that are like process theologians that don't have like a traditional view of God, but they still believe that something's out there. There's some kind of mind behind the universe. So I'm wondering if you guys have like removed all that type of thing from your
Yes.
worldview.
If I
And,
can't
and
if I can't prove or justify or logic
These
a reason,
demonstrate.
yeah, I gotta have something to point that at. Like if I wanted to say like the Great Attractor, which is like pulling multiple millions of galaxies all together in the one thing, I can't just be like, aha, that's God's house. Like I don't just get to say that off. You know, what I mean? I feel like internally I have to remain true and consistent, and I can't just like make logic shortcuts because I want something to be true. Because then at the end of the day, I know I'm faking it. You know, I
Yeah.
know I don't actually believe that. Like these people say, I'm protected by the sword and shield of God. Let me put on my seatbelt. It's like, for what? You are protected. You have literal plot armor. So why aren't you just like running down the highway at full speed? Oh, you worry about your body getting crushed by metal and rubber and things that are actually tangible. So if it's in the tangible world, it's real. If it's not, it's fun, and it's fine to have fun. I love high fantasy and fiction, and I like writing like science fiction stuff. We play D&D and TTRPGs on the bin all the time. Having an imagination, I think, is great, but to force that imagination onto other people, to coerce people into your delusion, is toxic. So no gracias. You can keep it.
it's really frustrating that so many people just can't leave something behind without finding something new to cling to. It's like they have to have some kind of hope, meaning, and purpose to replace the defunct worldview before they can get on with their lives. Like I'm fine being just a total nihilist. It works for me. I don't need some kind of false hope before I can leave one behind.
Can I throw one thing in that? Like, I get people want to be nihilists, but let me like put like one thing in perspective. So like there's enough stars in our galaxy for each grain of sand, right? Like
there's just our galaxy.
Right. And then there's like infinitely all these other guys. It is literally 8 billion humans versus the universe. Like it is Earthlings versus the universe. And how far do like before we get to like the Star Trek societies and like Klingons and then like warp drives and all that shit, there's like so much legwork to do before that day gets here.
Right.
So let's push towards that. We may not ever see it, but eventually we will get that warp drive. We will get, pictures of a black hole. We will get answers to all these super cool questions. It just isn't happening in our lifetime, and that's okay. So let's make sure that the next group of kids and the next group of learners and explorers get there. We're in a transitional phase. We've discovered a lot of cool stuff, but way more cool stuff is going to come later if we do the right steps now.
Yeah, and I can totally go with that. As a nihilist, I can fill it with anything that I want. It's not necessarily emptiness. It's just that I recognize for myself that nothing that I do is going to matter for me. But I can choose to do something that's going to live on past me, because why not? It's not that nothing matters depression. It's more like nothing matters, so you can do whatever you want.
I don't know about nothing I do is going to matter for me, because I'm pretty sure it's going to matter if I get into my vehicle and put my seatbelt on. I'm not.
Well, I meant long term.
Oh,
like I'm not going to live past this. So it's essentially like what I do to kill time while I wait to die, if you want to put it like that.
Sure. I mean, I firmly think that you do whatever you can to leave something that at least people will be talking about for a little while, because eventually your name's not going to be known to anyone.
Right.
And that don't take long.
No. I mean, there's obviously going to be people. It's going to be people that are remembered for a long time, like the first presidents or the
current president.
Fuck that guy, and
Trump Tua.
Yeah.
I think he's
So I think.
personally trained ice. We're in great shape.
Oh yeah, running around wheezing. But yeah, I just think if you do something or leave some kind of legacy that'll at least let your memory live on for a little while, then you've accomplished everything. I think so.
I think that's what we're trying to do here.
Sure.
Is get ourselves out there so it has some kind of ripple effect.
And you know, I'll take back my previous answer. I might have found like a woo religion thing. And I think it's like, I really, like, I'm a musician. I've been playing like trumpet and concert instruments since I was like 10. So that stuff's like boring and like you get all into it. But then once you kind of like get out of the concert and the marching band and the kind of like stage, big band jazz and all that kind of stuff, and you start like creating your own stuff. And then you kind of, and I listen to, I mean, so many different countries, like there's this celloist from Mozambique that I think is probably the craziest, awesomest person I've ever heard of. And it's like, man, let me just kind of really connect with these like sounds. And then I stopped listening to music with lyrics at all. And I just really kind of had this very special connection. So now I'm watching all these like hyper granular music theory kind of things that I'm like understanding the math behind the frequencies about why things are resonating. Like, so then like these people come up and they got like their little bowl and they got the little gongs and they have all this little stuff. And then I'm like, oh, it's the shape of our ear and it feels good when those things vibrate in our ear. And that's how we got the pentatonic scale. I was like, I bet if our ear was a different shape, we'd like different music. But because we all kind of share an ear shape and we kind of all like the same kind of frequencies, we use that to express. And I don't know that every other animal out here is doing that. And it's just like, I found like a very beautiful thing in that we enjoy music. Like we don't have to, like we don't need to do any of that stuff. We could just use our brains to do regular shit, but we don't. We like music and the visual stuff. Yeah, that's kind of like in the same realm. But I mean, just on like you don't have to speak the same language. There doesn't have to be music or lyrics or words at all. And it just resonates with people. And this is something that religion found out very early, that music is a powerful tool for human control because it feels good. Your brain gets lots of happy brain juice listening to some awesome tracks. It can really like inform your reality just on the sensation that you're feeling. Like, because I'm telling you, if these people were holding their hands up and they're doing the altar call and doing it, and somebody came in there with a harmonica and a bagpipe and just started tearing shit up, the mood would drop. Everything would be disrupted because we have such a close connection to like our emotions and our ears. And it's weird and I love it. And I think it's like human speak. Like music is human speak. So when the aliens come down and what you don't have any technology to speak of, but damn, that blues riff kind of goes hard. Like like it may not make sense to them, but it makes perfect sense to us. And I think that's kind of
hear the like, same way we do either, right? You got to remember that,
right? Right here with their noses, the little perverts.
You know, a lot of people would still refer to what you're describing, Mikey, as a spiritual experience.
Right.
Yep. Sure.
But it's math.
Right. But
which can be spiritual.
The terminology is used so loosely that it becomes very difficult sometimes to have a conversation when people are referring to things like that as a spiritual experience. And I'm going around saying there's no such thing as a spiritual experience. If it depends on how you define the term, obviously.
We should just change it to emotional experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, spirituality doesn't really have a definition. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the benefit for them is they don't have to have a definition. They can just run around using it however they want, Ken Hovind style.
Yeah. So let's go back to nihilism for a moment, because
I prefer to call it nihilism. Thank you.
You prefer nihilism?
You got your own version of it.
Exactly.
Hey, it might be nihilism. Nihilism, nihilism, potato, potato.
Potato.
Alan Elliott. I mean, who knows? Anyway, that joke was stupid. I don't even know why I said that. Okay, moving on. So nihilism. I find there's a lot of Christians, ex-Christians rather, that come out of their religion, come out of Christianity fiercely. Like they wake up, so to speak, and they're like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
But then they get stuck somewhere. It's like some trap caught their foot on the way out and they just held them there. And it seems the reason is
common one.
There can't be just meaningless. There can't be some, and so they get stuck there and they say, well, there's got to be some reason for this. Oh, therefore, there's got to be a creator. Therefore, there's got to be a mind. And so they get stuck creating some other God in their head or some other sort of designer in their head. And they just get trapped there and they can't seem to move past it and just become comfortable with realizing that we make our own purpose. And when it's done, it's done. And that's just reality. And there's no reason why we should try to force something that isn't real. But why do you suppose it is they just get stuck there and have such a hard time coming to grips with what reality is if they were able to escape God to begin with?
You know, I'd say a very common thing that lingers with a lot of the people that we've spoken to that free themselves from their beliefs is the hell factor. A lot of people have a hard time now that they're free from the religious part. They still, that hell thing clings on because, like, you know, it's a what if thing, right? Like, if I'm wrong, then I'm going to burn for eternity. And that scares a lot of people. That one hits hard for a lot of people. And it's usually one of the last few things that they sort of drop eventually, but it can cling on for quite some time.
A lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that holds on to a lot of people, but I do know, so I come out of a preterist worldview, which I can't remember if I talked about on your show, but that's essentially just a theological view that means that all things were fulfilled, like the second coming of Christ, the great final judgment, the resurrection of the dead, all that. That's all part and parcel of the 70 AD destruction of Jerusalem. And it all takes place in the spiritual realm, or whatever that is now. But anyway, so that view, and by and large, the preterist community, and not everybody, obviously, but by and large, we've done away with hell as a concept. We've woken up to that and realized that's just made up by the Catholic Church. It doesn't really exist. And we came to realize it was Gehenna, and especially since we saw, destruction of Jerusalem, and we realized how central that is to the Bible theme, and we saw the surrounding fire outside where everything was burning. That's Gehenna, that. So we realized hell is just that thing is just not real.
Right.
So I found still a lot of preterists who forewent hell years ago. Like, even as a full preterist, I hadn't believed in hell for goodness 15 years. I was a Christian for 15 years without believing in hell, right? That wasn't even on my radar anymore. I didn't even believe in demons anymore. I had a totally different interpretation of that. So none of that was a fear factor for me and for a lot of full preterists. In fact, I figured if I'm wrong, worst that's going to happen is I'll be annihilated. No biggie. But for some reason, there's still a lot of preterists without that hell fear factor that still get stuck with that trap coming out, and they can't seem to let it go. And it's so mind-boggling to me, because for me, it was not like, when I came out, it was like I went full speed. I just kept running to anything that made sense. Like, it just, and if I couldn't defend it, if I couldn't have any good reason to believe it, then I just dropped that belief. And I just went to, I don't know. I did a major, like, I used to be major Republican as a Christian, like, diehard Trump fan. Now I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? It's just, I used to be, of course, based on the Bible, homosexuality is a sin, now I'm just like, why was I so opposed to human rights? And so you follow the Bible and you just think it's telling you all these truths and stuff. And so there's so many things that I have just,
because they program you to think that.
They do. That's right. And I know now currently, and I'm in constant dialogue with several ex-preterists that have come out of believing the Bible's true, but are still programmed to be stuck with those views. Homosexuality is still a sin. Transvestite is a sin. Praise Trump. Like the weirdest stuff. And I'm like, how are you still holding on to these things if you don't believe there's a Bible telling you that they're true? And how are people getting stuck there? I guess that's my question. I'm trying to figure this out.
I think it's a very recent thing, but people have really started to identify as their religions now. So like same thing with politics, because it's both cult behavior, if you ask me. when you tell them that this thing about their belief system is wrong, they're saying they're receiving it as part of me is wrong. And so now you're attacking me. So now no matter what you say, no matter if it's true or not, if I'm insulting your face or something like that, you're never going to agree that, yes, I have an ugly face. You're so right about that. And now I have seen the wisdom of your way. Like no one would ever say that. And that's how they feel. So you have to first remove it from their body. You know what I mean? Because it is like they are the physical incarnation of their belief system internally. And for us, it was like, no, this is something my brain believed, and now my brain doesn't believe it anymore. They are it. So they take any attack at the belief system as a literal, physical, spiritual assault on them as a person, the person standing in front of you. So that I think history helps break them out of that. It's like, oh, cool. You're a Christian? Cool. What do you think about the Council of Nicaea? What is that? Oh, okay. Nothing. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. No, don't look it up. You don't need to look it up. What are you talking about? No, me? No, I'm not talking about nothing. Like
Google is your friend.
Yeah. they'll all you need to do is give them a path and they'll unstick themselves. But if you try to rip it away from them, they're going to fight you the entire time because they are literally brainwashed. They can't get out of it. They can't see the aquarium. Right. Yeah. Like, so even though we're coming in with the net to save them, they don't understand what we're trying to do. They're just like, the net's eating me.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. In my book, I make a case very early on in the book, and I explain that it's actually dangerous to start reading this book and not finish it because It's almost like doing brain surgery and leaving when the surgeon has your skull open and hasn't had a chance to restitch you up. It's much like that where you get to this thing and you kind of get excited. You're like, oh, I see it all. And then you just don't want to finish and you just go on with it before you get stitched up and like healed a little bit. And have a chance to really start to see what the world is like without God before you just run thinking you've got it all figured out. It's so much like you're saying, it's a whole process. And I guess that's why I wrote the book that I did the way I did. But yeah, it's frustrating though, man. I'll tell you, having dialogues with people that you would think should know better by now, and yet they're still stuck in it. It's just weird to me.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that you and I haven't actually talked about this before. So I had this issue when I was coming out of Christianity as well. And I think, just speaking for myself, the reason people don't want to let go of something is because of, if they do, then they have to accept the fact that there's nothing in control of them, their life, the world, the universe. And that's a really terrifying thing. And that scared the shit out of me when it finally got through to me that, oh my God, there is nothing in control. Literally anything can happen now and nothing can stop it. I mean, we could be hit by an asteroid. The universe could suffer from vacuum decay and could just instantly vanish.
Quarks everywhere.
Anything could happen to me. I can walk out into traffic and get hit, and there's no hope there. There's no control there. There's nothing I can say. Oh, I'm going to trust in this God to get me out of it or to control the physics of the world. And so there's this intense urge to, keep something with you instead of letting it all go at once. And I think that might be where they're getting stuck.
It makes sense what you're saying. And full disclosure, I mean, I don't believe any of it at all. I completely am aware that there's no superpowered being up there taking care of me. But even I sometimes miss that. I just the thought that there was some big daddy.
Is it that you miss, or is it the community and the togetherness with everyone?
No, I miss that too occasionally, I guess, but it's more so it's sometimes it's like today. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So today I get this letter in the mail, right? Come to find out that there's local taxes in the community in the Berks County where we live. I had no idea. I've never paid local taxes. Florida, we don't have them. Maryland, we didn't have them. So come to find out, I'm 4 years behind on local taxes. Had no freaking clue. They've been sending letters to the wrong address because I've moved twice, right? So I never even got a letter. Today's the first time I got it telling me I owe blah, blah, blah. And if you don't pay immediately, we're taking you to court. And this is the last warning. And I'm like, well, that escalated quick. Like, where the heck come from? So I'm like, well, shit, what the fuck? So, this isn't an example of where I actually thought this, but this is an example of types of circumstances that I've had where, you're in there, you're like, boy, I wish that I could just talk to somebody that genuinely cared and had some control and could actually help me through this, and at sometimes I would think, oh boy, I miss God because he was that person for me. I mean, even if he doesn't actually do anything, which he never actually did, there was just something comforting about thinking he did. I don't know why.
Security blanket.
Yeah. But I'm growing out of it more. I mean, the longer I'm out of Christianity, the less I retreat to that. But I'm just saying there have been times, and I can understand why people would do that. What I can't understand though is even though that emotional feeling is there of saying, boy, I do miss that, why actually holding on to it is happening? That's what I don't get. Like, I'm not holding on to some delusion that there is a God. I'm just saying, sure, I remember those times. And boy, it was nice to go for a walk and think somebody was listening to me. But I have no delusions that's actually happening. Yet some still do. It's
sure.
They made up another God. Like, they know full well that the God they believed in doesn't exist, and they had no good reason to believe in him, but they just invent some other God and just run with it.
What's it called when you can like see pictures and like you make out images like in clouds and stuff like that?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. So like in the same way that you can look at clouds and then, let me do it. My brain needs to make a pattern, sheep, pattern, fish. Yeah. Like, that's literally what our superpower is. We have no claws, we have no gills, we have no fins, we have shit, but we have a really stupid, ridiculous brain. Yeah, that we used our stupid brains to make, because like it's patterns. We are addicted to patterns, and things are chaotic. Imaginary guy, make a pattern. You know what I mean? Like, it's it has to make sense. Everything has to make sense to us at all times. And then as soon as you let go of trying to understand everything, instead of saying, okay, I don't understand this much, let me start digging into that glacier of shit that I need to understand. By the time you understand enough, you're dead anyway. So you should probably spend more time learning than praying, because I mean, that's you're asking for a pattern to just complete itself. And that's the gap. As soon as they make that gap where they can just let it, instead of it being a full pattern, just skip a couple of steps. And then that was that happened because of X. That's the problem. Shortcut thinking will do it every time.
Yeah. Neil, I was just listening to you today on Skep Haven Let's Talk with the Panentheist. I think it ends up he was either a pantheist or panentheist. I was very unsure. Do you remember that guy that you were talking to?
Yep.
And he was everything's God. You were just like, why? He came out of exactly
why? Yeah, like, what's the point of that statement? Like,
right. That's what I'm trying to say is, why are people
everything's a tree? I just said the same thing, but with something else.
Right. It's like the progressive or what are we calling them, Elliot? The guys like that have been on our show recently.
Process theologians.
Yeah, that are just like, they can't quite let go, so they're just making up whatever they want and calling it God. And you're just like, why?
God of the gaps.
Well, that's a very strange thing. I've never even heard of them before until we had them on. Like, they believe in the God of the Bible, but they believe that God changes with humans. So it's not this all-knowing being, but it
God
sort of evolves with them.
Not a jot or a tittle.
It learns with humans. God learns along with humans. So he's also walking in ignorance with us. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because that doesn't make any sense if he's all-knowing. What's he fucking learning?
When he suppresses his knowledge, it's like open theism, right? I mean,
apparently they have a whole seminary for process theology, which would be a real hoot to attend that, because I don't know what the fuck they're teaching, and they think this tradition goes all the way back to the early church. So figure that.
I mean, if I were to believe in a God, it would have to be the God I believed in before, the Calvinistic God, the literally sovereign, in charge, knows everything, rules everything, controls everything, because any other God makes no sense to me. That wouldn't, it just doesn't track a God that's just changing all the time and trying to figure things out with humans. Like, I don't know. I don't get that. It's extremely
Who prays
bizarre.
to a guy who's getting on the job training? Like, what are we talking about? Like, you don't even know what you're doing.
And somehow he
You're
invented,
certified.
oh, that's right.
Well, he
And
forgot to eat of the fruit too, so
Ah, shit.
that's why he doesn't know.
That's
And I
why he
don't
was
think
warning them, don't eat it.
he didn't create the world
Shut up.
either. Mistaken. He was just kind of part of it, and yet it's the weirdest thing. You just have to have a God for some reason. Why? What are we holding on to here?
Because the pattern needs a start. I have to start my pattern somewhere. I can't start my pattern in, a 12-year college course to explain the genesis of life. You know what I mean? I need my pattern to start with 3 pages in a book. And this is way easier.
Well,
I see.
look
Look at all the brain
it's
gasoline I just
cheating.
saved. Yeah.
Gods were invented as a form of control. Let's just point that out. I mean, it's all it is. They're a form of control over the masses.
Yep.
If you can invent these deities that have all these powers that could kill you in a snap if they wanted to, if you misbehave, then even the Romans and Greeks had a bunch of different gods for different things, and if you broke their rules, you were going to be doomed. So it was all for control. And if you ask me, if you've got now it's all melded, even the Judeo-Christian, I hate that term, but the Abrahamic deities or deity will say had a pantheon as well before it became the one, as they call it, true God, because apparently all the other ones were fake gods like Baal and Asherah or whatever. But they had a pantheon, right? El, Baal, Asherah, Yahweh, etc. So this Yahweh ends up being the big guy that knows everything. Yeah, that is the most powerful. Thou shalt worship no other gods before me, which is an allusion to that there are other deities.
A confession, right? Like you
the
can't
first
put in
version
there
of
that there's other ones.
Genesis. Let us make man as the same as us or whatever, like into our image, multiples again. So it's all for control. This whole thing, and it's all patriarchal too, if you really look at it, because women aren't worth shit in these belief systems, right? They're worth at the very least half is. If a man's worth 100 shekels, then a woman's worth 50 shekels, right? Or if that, right? So it's all about control. It's all about patriarchy, misogyny, all that stuff. And it's horrifying, in my opinion. If you've got a deity that's all-knowing and all-powerful that sits by while the very people that claim to speak for him are molesting and raping children, we've got a problem.
Yep.
Because if I saw something like that, I would fucking stand in there or step in there, even at risk of my own life. And that already makes me better than your fucking deity. So,
and Neil, you can't even throw lightning bolts from space. You know what I'm saying? You could just make them turn into
we've got
ash.
the Jewish lasers, though. Remember? Jewish space lasers.
Or a salt pillar. You know what I mean? You could do all kinds of things to these monsters that abuse children, and then or these pastors that beat their wives on Sunday and then make sure that they're all cleaned up for service right before. Like, these people are very fallible people, if it isn't obvious. Like all of these leaders of these churches. Joel Osteen locking up the doors during a hurricane because people were trying to seek refuge from the floodwaters. Like
exactly what Jesus would do.
Yeah, you're not getting your muddy shoes on my carpet. Like these are weirdos who have taken like the pattern recognition and the myths and now they're using the music and the production, and now they got dudes swinging from the ceiling like Cirque du Soleil and all this. Yeah, it's almost like it's a perfect attention trap. It's like the TikTok of the Bronze Age. Oh, do you know about the good word? And then they get to have their little fun and their little chat, and then they get this weird, maybe it was an awkward conversation starter. Like, I don't know, but
and then 10% of your income.
Yeah.
Who signs up for extra taxes? Not me.
Man, after the letter I got today, you'll never see me at church paying any more of those taxes. Holy cow.
Like, not this.
Man.
Yeah.
So
hashtag tax the church.
Anybody that's tuned in, watching from the chat, go ahead and start throwing in any questions that you may have for any of us, actually, but especially Mikey or Neil. We'd love to entertain any of the tough questions you may have tonight, because we got 2 really, really special guests on here. We'd love to have you guys ask them the hard questions. I hope some of our peeps are watching, because they ask some of the hard questions and they don't like our answers. So maybe they'll like your answers.
Well, I saw one good one.
Yeah.
It asked you guys of all the deconversion experience or stories that you've heard, do you see a common theme with most of them that you could point out?
Most of them, yeah, I'd say there's a common theme with most of them, especially most of the fundamentalist, evangelical type ones, where Deconverted Man, how's it going, brother?
Hey.
Hey, Dan.
I think one of the most common ones is something that I mentioned before. The fear of hell is hard to let go of. And also, if they do ultimately come out to their family, they've lost everything, because a lot of them will just shun you. That's it. You're done. You're no longer part of the family. And that can be really, really depressing for a lot of people, right? So I think those are probably the two most common things that we hear when it comes from a lot of our guests that come on, and they come from hardcore belief systems, is the loss of their community, which is why on our show we like to introduce them to more of the community. As you know, Alan, you've been on, so we introduce you to more of the community after the interview, and just to let them know that there is a place to fall that is safe, a place to, there are people you can lean on if need be, for multiple different reasons if need be. So you're not really losing that stuff. It sure feels like it's empty now because you've lost all these things, but that's not the case. There's lots of people out there. Another commonality that we hear is that people didn't realize that there were other people out there that didn't believe in gods, right? They say, I didn't know that I didn't even know the word atheist, or that's not as common, but we hear that from time to time. And we're like, oh yeah, there's lots of us. Like the percentage of Earth's population that are non-believers or follow no religion is growing and growing and growing and growing, because people are finally starting to see that it's just mythology. That's all it is. It's just a mythology that happens to have stuck onto modern age for whatever reason. And that's because you're indoctrinated at a very early age and you don't really know any better. But one of the ways I found my way out is knowing that there are so many other belief systems out there with all their stories. And a lot of these stories are just transplanted from one to the other. Like the Epic of Gilgamesh, now we know of as Noah's Flood. If you go to the Abrahamic belief system, it's all the same shit, just getting recycled. And that sort of hit me hard. It's like, well, okay, it's just mythology. That's all it is.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately for a lot of people, the promise of seeing dead relatives and stuff like that, I think that's like especially hard for a lot of people, because if you, like, let's say you were like raised by a grandparent or something like that, and they raised you in the church, and then like your parents are gone or something like that, and then these people lose that person, and that is the one, they lose them very early in life, probably like 20s or earlier, because of their accelerated age. So it's like they have to go this long drought, and they're like, I wish I had this person back, but I will someday. And that's not fair. Because that person never truly grieves, because they always have like, I got a Mario green mushroom 1-up in my back pocket, and then I'm going to be able to reconnect with everybody. And that's not fair, And then I think something that I think that's kind of unexpected that we did find as a pattern was people having to re-grieve. Like having to re-grieve dead relatives, because now they understand that I will not be able to actually reconnect with them, and I'm not going to see, Granny again. That time that we shared is all that we were going to get, and that's rough. That's, again, it's not just this, harmless thing that you just give people and it just makes them feel better on sad days. No, you're training them into deluding themselves about events in the future at the risk of their mental health of the present, and that ain't cool.
I imagine a person would have to grieve themselves as well, because you find out there's no eternal life and this is all you've got,
right?
So it's kind of it's a double header.
I'm going to address something that I've seen in the chat by this loved by above person there, that points out you have to study the word. That is another common thread in deconversion stories, is people that actually do read the Bible, study the word. Like, how many biblical scholars have we had on the show, Mikey?
people
Like,
who
at
have gone
least
through
a dozen.
seminary. Yeah.
Right. And became preachers and eventually just was like, this is just BS. This
That
can't
was
be
my
real.
story. That was
Right.
my story.
Right. So people that do study the word love by above end up leaving because they see how ridiculous it is. And another thing is when you say God loves and wants you, but he wants you to want him, what the hell kind of bullshit is that?
Want you to want me.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, here's
God is a scam. Don't be a victim.
Mitch, man. Does anybody know who this is? Atheism is stupid and easy to
saw that.
refute.
Sure.
He says he wants to call in and debate all four of us.
Yeah.
You guys interested?
That would be a
No.
mess.
No.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. I
Absolutely
told him he could like and subscribe, and I noticed that he didn't do that yet. So why should we do anything for you?
Fair
Well,
enough.
I don't know.
You
Ellen.
didn't like
Maybe
and
you
subscribe.
should. Maybe you should give him like 60 minutes or 2 minutes to give his best argument for Christianity.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest, is have him come on and just give him a few seconds. But if you guys,
But if he's gonna fight and insult, then I mean that's a dead end.
I would just give him literally the 60 seconds or 2 minutes even to present an argument.
Let me tell you why the whole premise that he's pointing out is ridiculous. Is atheism's easy to refute. Oh, really? So you're going to refute the fact that I don't believe in a God?
Yes.
That's all atheism
Right.
is.
Right.
Do you believe in a God? No, I do not. And I'm an atheist. That's
Right.
it. It
Right.
does nothing else. It's not a worldview. It's just a position on whether or not there are gods. I don't think so. That's it.
It's almost like saying, do you like bananas or don't? I'll refute you. You do like them. What?
Yes, you do.
Well, I mean, to be honest, he probably means the position that there is no God.
Right. Well, I would hope so. But you know as well as I do,
do,
believe that atheism is a worldview.
They think it's a religion, a worldview, yada yada yada. It's not. It's literally the opposite of that. It's just one position. That's all it is.
And
it's I'm an atheist too because I don't believe in fairies.
Right.
And he believes the same thing, except he has one God that he, exempts from the same criticism and ridicule that he holds about Islam, that he holds about Confucius, that he holds about the Bhagavad Gita. So he doesn't believe in Thor, right? He doesn't believe in Athena, but he believes in, I assume, the Christian God. Okay.
Well, he might be a polytheist and thinks they're all real in some reality, multiverse.
Possibly.
Each God has a universe.
This isn't Marvel.
Then we're not the first four people he should be talking to, because there's a billion Muslims and damn near a billion Christians that he can get to first, and then you can go deal with them and you can tell them all about it.
Econo Mitchum, man, looks like we're not going to have you on tonight. However, I just put my email in the chat. I want you to shoot me an email, and let's set up a time for me and you and Elliot to talk on our show. But I want you to send me an email and tell me what it is you think you're going to present. Just a brief, so that I know we're not wasting our time just arguing about nothing. So just give me a brief thing in that email to tell me that you actually have some content you'd like to discuss, and then we'll go from there. See if we can set up a time.
And if you really want to come on our show, you can be prepared to show your face like we are, so we're all on equal footing.
Oh no, he's coming on.
No, because we're not doing any trolls.
Right. No, that's absolutely not. No. Whoever's gonna come on our show needs to come on visibly right now. All right, let's see. I scrolled through a bunch of stuff here to jump down to that one, but there's just some fun comments here that I want to say, especially early on, because these are just really nice. This guy responding to you, Mikey, earlier. I used to fake migraines out of church. Miss LB. I used to fake migraines to get out of church. I must have been around 12 or so. My parents are spiritualists. I was into it, but when I started high school, it opened my eyes. Very, very cool. Fake migraines. I love it.
Thanks, Gina.
Yeah. Let's see.
He used to do it too.
From Griff Lord Studios, how do you feel about actual Satanists running this country?
What are actual Satanists? Like, people actually think that Satan is real?
The same thing. I'm not really into anybody running the country that makes stuff up and says they're real.
But the Satanic Temple, is full of some of the
I'm a member.
Yeah, is full of some of the most empathic, benevolent people you'd ever want to meet.
Sure, but the Satanic Temple is not the same thing as the Satanists. Like, they don't actually.
No, they're a humanist organization. Actually,
yeah. So it's that would be totally different. But it's
there you go. The Satanic Temple.
There you go.
Carrying member.
I lost my train of thought anyway, so let's keep going.
Well, if you're a Satanist, then doesn't that mean you have to believe the Bible because you believe Satan is real, and that's where you get it from is the Bible? So you're kind of a Christian before you're a Satanist.
And that's the thing that they don't get. Like a lot of times people don't travel the world and they don't understand. They've never been to a country where their religion isn't the dominant religion. Bro, this isn't planet America. Like everyone doesn't believe what you guys
it
think.
is.
You know, it's like the US is as far across as the moon. But they think the whole universe is America, and everyone believes the same stuff they believe. And if they don't believe it, then they obviously believe the opposite. Like that's the number one thing I get is when people hear I'm an atheist, they say, "Oh, so you love Satan?" I'm like, "No, I don't believe in the whole book, dumbass. I didn't just pick the other side from you. I'm saying the whole thing is fake, and it was given to you by." And we can go through the history about how you got your holy book. Where did it come from? How did it just fall into your lap in your language, telling you exactly the things that you need to do to keep your society compliant and docile? Seems coincidental, huh? Almost seems like there's a higher plan. It's called politics, dude.
I think for a lot of these people, they believe that anything that is not Christian is satanic. So
Automatically.
automatically. So if you're a Muslim, you're worshiping Satan. If you're a Buddhist, whatever, fill in the blank, you're a Satanist because every other religion is from Satan. So, I mean, I guess I'd kind of give them that one, even though it's bullshit. But from their limited worldview, it would look that way.
Dude, AJ Ruley is here with us today. Woohoo! Anyways,
Hey.
I have the same sign behind you, Alan. I don't know which sign. Is it probably this one, the share, I'm guessing?
I think so. I think so.
Very cool. We just regained our twinsy status. I'm so excited. So AJ, well, we're going to have AJ on our show actually in April. I'm super excited. I think it's April 12th, the Sunday. So can't wait to hear her story. And it's fast. I mean, wow, what a story. Very, very powerful. But yeah, so she's from Argentina. My mom's from Argentina, which I thought was a really cool connection. And my initials are also AJ. So anyway, so we had something to connect with. Pretty neat. And then I realized how smart she was, and the twinsy thing went away real quick. So, but yeah.
Don't you be intimidated by AJ. You fight back.
But
Cool.
I consider this awesome to have you guys on, and then having AJ on. This is like absolutely incredible for us. I'm blown away that you guys were willing to give us your time. So thanks for being here for sure.
If I wasn't doing this, I'd be building one of those Lego sets. So
let's see.
I took a nap for this. So
what the fucking hell is going on here? Hello, all. Howdy, you rather be. What the hell is going on here? We are having awesome guests on. That's what the hell is going on here. Neil, buddy, long time no see. Hugs, Mikey.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Chris? It's Chris Mallard, right?
Yeah, he's that guy that has that damn show.
That damn show.
He
He gets a little heated from time to time. Mr. Mallard does.
Does he?
He gets a little hot under the collar. Starts raging about all kinds of things.
What?
Just know, people, he does it because he actually gives a shit.
Right.
So there you go.
From Vic Stryker. Any Friedrich Nietzsche fans in the
Nietzsche's
building?
interesting.
Boo that man. Boo Vic Stryker. He said defamatory things about me in there.
We got a little love from Deconverted Man for you, Neil.
That's Tim. He's
Good
my co-host on the Headliners on the Bin Network. So
Loved by
he's trolling me.
Love by Above has once again shown that Christians that are full firm believers only have like a dichotomy. There's only two choices. Period. What?
Yeah.
In regards to what?
Everything.
What if there's a whole menu?
Nope.
Neil, you and I need to start our own show called the 605 Atheist and the Unravelier. That would be actually. I was listening to you. I can't remember. I think it was the same episode, or one of them anyway, where you were saying that some people have referred to you as the Canadian Matt Dillahunty.
Yeah, because when I first started doing call-in type stuff, I would go off sometimes, like Matt does, right? So,
But you look like Aaron Ra.
I know I look like Aaron. Yeah.
So-
And Aaron and I are actually really good friends. So
Yeah.
it's kind of
That's
funny when we're together. People are like, holy crap, they're like twins.
That's
They're like two big imposing dudes standing next to each other. Right?
Well, actually, when I heard that, I was thinking, what a great show it would be. The show would be called Dillahunty and Mini Hunty. So I thought that would be-
Mini Hunty. I think Matt would be like, shut up. You want to know?
I need another hand.
One of the things that sold me on the Satanic Temple, by the way, and no love by above, the Satanic Temple doesn't actually worship Satan. It's a
Yes, it
humanist
does.
organization. And they have something, you know how the Bible has the 10 commandments, right? And of course, they're all pretty much self-centered bullshit towards God. Well, the Satanic Temple has something called the 7 fundamental tenets. And the first one right off the hop is awesome. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. As soon as I read that, I was like, oh, I'm sold already.
Yeah.
The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Right? And there's more.
Yep.
Obviously, there's 5 more, but one more. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. In other words, my body, my choice kind of thing.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but those are some of the tenets.
No, they're
fundamental
great.
tenets that,
Absolutely. I did a short really early on in my channel where I read the things from the Satanic. That didn't say what it was until I read it on. But like, well, that sounds like something I should join. And be like, it's the Satanic Temple.
I
People
read
are
those
like,
to my mom, and she was like, "That's fantastic. Those are really good." And I said, "Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right?
the Satanic Temple." She's like, "What?" Yeah, I'm a member. She's like, "What?" Like, no, Mom, we don't actually worship Satan. There is no Satan in the Hebrew Bible, anyways. Right? I think there's a word in there, Hashatan, which means the adversary or something along those lines. But there's no actual Satan in the Bible. That's a made up thing by the church later on.
But they don't want to hear that. Like, they don't understand that they're not believing in Christianity. They have some sort of warped vision of Christianity, and then they want to argue that to people who've actually done their homework. And it's like, I'm not doing that with you. You don't know what you're talking about. You sound crazy. Any Christian from any other country would look at you like a psychopath because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
I
just
lost
popped this-
missionary. Yeah,
I popped up with this because you guys said the same thing earlier. I thought that was cool.
I'm in agreement with this. I think deities were invented to explain things they couldn't explain, like lightning. All right, you have Thor, you've got Zeus, whatever. Now we know what lightning is. Until we discovered what lightning actually was, now we don't believe in Zeus or Thor anymore.
Right.
Yep. So I didn't realize earlier that Deconverted Man addressed this to me as well, and I never actually answered it. I just let you guys did. Although I would say most of your answers are pretty much the same, but I would say that in every deconversion story I've heard, and this is pretty much one of the inspirations for why I was able to write the book that I wrote, is because every deconversion story I've heard is it really comes down to layer by layer being removed. Like I think most Christians don't realize that they're removing layers over time, and then eventually just that last one falls off, and it's like your whole house cards falls. You're like, what the hell happened? You just kind of like wake up, and you're like, what? And everybody's got a different final straw. For me, it was prayer. I was like, what the hell am I doing? And that was the end for me. But everybody's got a different one. But I don't think anybody just removes it all at once. It's just slowly but surely you start to see things and you remove things, and then finally last one. So I think you mentioned the word brainwashing earlier, Neil, and I think that's on point. That's exactly what it's about. You have to remove the layers of brainwashing to be able to surface
it's a brainwashing level of indoctrination, right? Because indoctrination doesn't necessarily have to be brainwashing, because we can be indoctrinated into things that are actually reasonable, right? Like sciences is a form of indoctrination. When you go to school and you learn about science, it is a form, but it's more of a learning thing than a brainwashing thing.
Sure, right. But in this case, right, when it comes to this, there's no good reason for it. You're just being educated to follow a pattern. You're being educated to submit. Basically,
scientific
all it is.
method,
and you're not allowed to question, and that's the problem. Like,
that's the problem.
once you start questioning, you're already on the path to deconversion. Like your first questions, you're on the path. Like it's terrible. But that's, whenever I would ask questions growing up, I remember one of the phrases my mom would always say to me is things like, you're always trying to find a fifth leg to the cat, stuff like that. Because she like, I would ask questions or I would just like start to find things that didn't make sense here. So I would build a new worldview here even if it was the biblical worldview, I would just change. And I was always moving away from what I believed growing up because I was always growing and always changing my thinking. And little did I know I was removing layers, but I didn't know that till later. But that was just like, that was like evil. You're just following the path to the devil. You're doing all these wrong things by questioning. Just believe it. It's that kind of a thing.
No.
Questioning. Yeah. Questioning was just a bad idea. And even we would have debates sometimes with my family, but it would never go well because there was never any actual dialogue. It was just fighting,
Yeah,
so,
that happens.
It was unfortunate. But anyway, here's an important question from the damn show. Does Neil wear full bottom panties or just teabag thongs?
Teabag thongs.
The high-waisted thongs.
Are they tight?
Chris, why do you want to know, buddy? What if I told you I was going commando?
Hey, we all might be right now. You never know.
No, stop forcing your worldview of underwear.
Choice. Yeah, my undergarments of choice are boxer briefs. So there you go.
Pup Galaxy Full of Stars. More of a comment. Anton LaVey, as a kid.
Anton LaVey.
He'd watch men come to ogle the women at the circus on Saturday nights. Sunday morning, same men would come with wives and children to be redeemed of their sin week after week.
Yeah.
Truth. Let's see. Here's another from Lost Missionary. Same with the female-male dynamic. Early human, pre-humans. The dynamic was as it is in animals, one sex dominant over the other. Mm-hmm. Some more just comments. I don't really see any questions. I'm trying to scroll down because I don't want to miss any if there's important. And of course, we're not at a stage where we can do super chats yet, so I can't highlight those. No. Yeah, we need a lot more subscribers.
So
how many subscribers do you have now?
Well, I think we're at like 125 or something like that.
That's it?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You guys are great.
You tell us what the magic formula is.
Yeah. In fact, my own channel, I only have 360 something, I think, or 330. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing
I've been working on it for a year and a half, 2 years now, and I still can't get. Yeah. What's the magic formula?
We have to beg. Guys, I'm begging, please. Guys, the link is in the chat on the bin side. Please come over.
Does that actually work?
It's
I mean, I see YouTubers do that on like every freaking video.
Yeah, but they don't mean it.
I didn't think it actually worked.
But they don't mean it. Hey guys, can you just click the link I put in the chat? Just hit the sub. It's free. You can change your mind later, and it will really help them out. Let them get to their super chat level, and then once they get monetization, unsub that shit. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, just park that sub over there for a little while, okay? Just for a little bit. Help them out.
We appreciate it. I would love for you to subscribe to my personal channel too, man. Hop over. Dude, just click and subscribe. Cost you nothing,
Please.
Cost you nothing. So I'm begging.
Thank you so much. Thank you in advance.
Thank you guys. Yes. The Unraveler AB. Everyone, if someone wants to be told, if someone wants to be told what to do like they were in religion, should we tell them what to do? I found myself saying you have to grow up, but some people can't. What do you guys think?
We've done a bunch of different stories, and I think what the overriding theme is everybody's story is a little bit different. So getting people out of damaging thinking is a little bit, because at the end of the day, we're kind of talking about an addiction issue, right? Like they are loving the happy brain juice that they're getting from this building and from these people. If you do not have a counter, if you don't have the methadone, what good are you? You know what I mean? So I think like for me and Neil, speaking for us at least, having that after party where people can kind of get some happy brain juice, where we talk about science and Marvel movies and let's recast this movie. Who would you guys like? Like that's all they're doing. So that's what we do. We have our own little
community
alternative for them.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, but just telling people to give up thinking that they're going to see their grandparents again and that they're going to live forever, cold turkey with no alternative, and just to be like, that's what your brain says, that's right. that's not going to work, you know? So it's different for everybody, but they probably can, but they have to have something to replace it with.
You know, it's so interesting. It's so interesting how many times in my Christian journey, you know, like I said, escaping little by little without realizing it, how many pieces of the evidence that I had at my fingertips and just disregarded until after I became an atheist. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'd have just paid attention to that 10 years ago, I'd have been out. But you can't, because as long as
That's
that
programming.
yeah, you can't see it until you can. Like, it's just it's crazy.
You don't know you're in the fishbowl.
Yeah. So here's a fun one. This ought to get us talking. Here is my argument from the author Stoic. It is impossible for everything to have been created out of nothing without some supernatural.
Not true.
Force. I can't prove any one God, but this is proof that it is not nothing.
I would like to
Let me
argue that argue. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go first.
Okay.
Everybody wants a shot at this.
I would like to argue their premise. It is impossible for everything to have been created out of nothing. Prove it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all,
you're starting off from a false premise, and then you want me to. This is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, you don't know what you're
That's
talking
just
about,
it.
so now you want me to argue something that doesn't make sense. You don't know
that's
that.
just it. It is a false premise, because as far as we know, there isn't nothing. Nothing isn't a thing. Nothing becomes something as soon as you give it a name. Oh, it's nothing. Well, now it's something because you gave it a name.
Now it's a vacuum state.
That's
of
baseline.
empty
Yes.
space. Yeah.
We have quantum foam, which
Right.
is what fills all that empty space, which you consider to be nothing. There are what we call virtual particles that pop in and out of existence from nothing all the time.
Daily.
There is no nothing. So you're not ever going to get something from nothing, because there's always something.
Right.
So
And
things come into existence from something. Just you may not notice it or see it. We didn't even believe in germs until we had microscopes. So
correct. So one of the issues and one of the problems with this question is that when you're using the laws of logic in this universe to make assumptions about what things were like prior to time, you think that whatever happened prior to Planck time has to follow the same rules as the rules of our universe, and they don't, because we don't even know what they are.
No,
so
exactly.
In fact, the sheer fact that you create a God in your head that is not following the laws of this universe but exists outside of space and time means that you also believe that there has to be something that is not following the laws of this universe. But why does it have to be the God you came up with? Why does it have to be this God or that God? How do you know it's that God? You just don't. And because we don't know what the rules are like and the laws of physics or non-physics or whatever it was prior to Planck time, you just have no clue what brought this universe about. Like, there's just no way of us possibly knowing, because it obviously doesn't follow the laws of this universe. So stop acting like you've drawn the conclusion that it's this God that you've created that also breaks the laws of this universe. Like, where did you come up with that? And why does it have to be that one? You're just making it up because you don't like the discomfort of saying, I don't know. And that's really where you need to settle. You need to stop making shit up and just become a person that says, I don't fucking know. And that's it.
Be comfortable with that.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
We may know in time. We don't know that, right? We may know in time. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Correct.
And I think it's very disingenuous to kind of like misinterpret the Big Bang and then try to like, see, I've found a hole. They say it's something from nothing. No. They say it's something from I don't know. Not nothing, from I don't know. And they just insert the nothing, and they assume that everyone believes that it was nothing. And then now everyone has to defend the nothing. No, it's I don't know until where we are now, because we can only see so far. And we've only done so many experiments, and we only have been trying to solve this puzzle for so long. So we have limitations. So it's I don't know to everything, not nothing to everything.
Correct. Science is still very young.
Yeah. I can actually use a Christian apologetics argument to refute this. So I'm sure we've all seen that argument where they take a whiteboard and they draw a really big circle on it and they put a little dot inside of it. They say this circle represents all knowledge in the universe, and this little dot inside of it represents all that humans know in comparison.
Don't have a problem so far.
And because of that, God could be anywhere else inside this circle, away from our knowledge because we only have a small fraction of all the knowledge in the universe. So maybe we're just not looking for God in the right place. Fine.
Right.
So
but
what
if that's
will
the case, how would we know that?
Well, right, but I can use the same argument against this one. You know, he says it's impossible for everything to have been created out of nothing without some supernatural force. Well, if
Well, we already know that.
this
Yes.
is all you know, all the knowledge that you have, and this is all the knowledge of the universe, then how can you say anything?
Well, see, there's some problems because that in and of itself saying that this is all the knowledge of the universe is also an assumption.
Right.
How do we know that knowledge just doesn't keep going and going and going, just like seemingly everything else?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Numbers are
But if we-
infinite.
if
How do
we
we know
know
knowledge
so
is
little,
infinite?
If we know so little in comparison to all the knowledge in the universe, then we can't be making claims about the supernatural is the only thing that can create out of nothing.
Right. Because there might just be physics that we don't understand.
Sure.
Exactly.
Like
Well,
what
it's-
happens to human knowledge after 1,000,000 years, as opposed to, you know, probably what are they saying, like 200,000 of like our current iteration in brain size and all that shape. So maybe we'll get there, but you can't know that from now.
Right.
Well, Richard Dawkins makes that case, or he claims that humans live in something called middle world, which is in between the subatomic realm and the vastness of the universe. So
And
we
speed, too.
in our experience just live inside our little range, and so it's very easy for us to completely misunderstand just about anything that happens on a cosmic or subatomic level.
We only understand like the origins for about 4% of the stuff we see in space.
Yeah.
All the rest
However,
of it is dark energy and dark matter, and we have no idea what both of those
recently-
are, and they're both fucking just placeholder names.
Recently, they have found on an asteroid or comet or whatever, they have found RNA stuff. They found, I think,
Sugar.
19 to 20 of the whatever the number is, I can't off the top of my head remember, but almost full amounts to make RNA, which then becomes DNA in time, right? So they're now leaning to the whole panspermia idea about Earth being seeded from elsewhere to eventually evolve into life as we know it here. So that I found pretty interesting too. When you were going there about the all the knowledge versus what we know, I'm on board. Like we're infants if you think about it. In the amount of time that the universe has been around that we know of, we're infants. We're like, they use the clock analogy. We're the last like 50 seconds left before it hits midnight, right? Like that's when we come into the whole thing. So how much stuff do we not know? Probably most of it. But that doesn't lend any credence to things like the supernatural, which definitely is a word that means outside of natural, because we can see and evaluate, test, observe natural phenomenon. Every time we try to do the same thing with so-called supernatural phenomenon, we don't find anything. So supernatural, in my opinion, is outside of nature, therefore doesn't exist within nature, in which we can observe and can test. So it's irrelevant to me until someone brings me some form of evidence that there is something supernatural. I'm going to live the rest of my life thinking that that's all nonsense, and I'm not going to pay any attention to it because I got better things to do, like all the chemistry that I do day to day for my job.
Right.
Tangible world first.
Yeah. The natural is the only means we have, like, to be able to diagnose this stuff. Like, you can't just say, oh, there's a supernatural, and the only way to know it is to experience the supernatural. Well, how the hell do you do that?
How do you know you weren't hallucinating?
Yeah, I mean, and how do you even know if you are experiencing the supernatural? Like, you have no means by which to test that it is the supernatural for you to claim that you experienced the supernatural. Like, you have no idea. It's like, when people say, oh, I know that God knows everything. Well, how can you know that something knows everything unless you know everything? Like, it's nonsensical.
I often put it to people when they say, well, God put it on my heart, or I was praying the other day. I'm like, did you hear a physical sound? Did you hear auditory sounds? Well, no, it was where? In your head or in your soul, in your heart? where did you hear the sensation? Like, where did you feel the sensation of the voice? No, you said it happened. So tell me how it happened. Or are you lying to me? Are you no. Are you hearing voices in your head or do you hear them out loud? Which is it? Well, but you said he spoke to you. So I it's a little toxic, but I push back when they say that they have these supernatural and these divine experiences. No, you explain it to me in detail because you're trying to get me to change my way of thinking to what you're talking about. And it kind of feels like you're making it up. So
yeah.
Tell me where you heard the voice. Can I record that voice?
It's so arrogant when they say that they heard something from God or God spoke to them. You know, when I was a Christian, I'd pray just as hard as probably they are. And if I would go to another Christian and tell them, you know, something that was, I would say, God put it on my heart. I would never say arrogantly, well, God spoke to me. Like, who the fuck do I think I am? Even as a Christian.
That's blasphemous, right? Like, and like, you're not supposed to be doing all that, but but they're so comfortable doing it now. You know what I mean? They're just so comfortable blatantly violating their own religious structure to just win an argument or to just, I felt it on my, like, do you know how rare it would have been for you, your punk ass, sitting in your car on break, shitting in my chat room? Like, do you know how rare it would be to find somebody who's actually had divine intervention, to actually have a supernatural experience like that is real and not just you making shit up right now to justify your argument? Man, what a rare occurrence.
Mikey, that's because they don't have enough faith to be an atheist.
I forgot about that.
Good thing you don't need faith to be an atheist.
Let's talk prophecy. Are you aware of prophecy written 2,000 plus years ago that have jumped from the pages and coming to pass? Let's talk, guys. Prophecy.
No. Coming to pass right now? Cool.
I'd like
give me one.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking? They left, by the way. They said, "You gentlemen be blessed. I'm leaving." So apparently we're blessed now. So.
Well, they got rid of Ellen, so they must be doing something right.
and I mean, I could give you a prophecy too. Sun's gonna come up, and then one day the sun's gonna come up, and then a dark spot is going to cover the sun, and no one will be able to see light for 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, I mean, they say they just made up stories about natural phenomenon that they couldn't explain because they didn't have antibiotics and hand soap, and they lived to be like 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Not 900 years old, like they claimed in the book. I'd love to hear or see a great scientific Christian explanation for people living, you know, several centuries and just being okay and walking around.
Oh, they've got them.
You know,
they've got the explanations. I've heard a few of them. They claim the genetic code was more pure.
Oh, eugenics. Okay.
And that the firmament that used to surround the earth blocked out harmful sun rays.
Right.
Wouldn't
it amplify the sun?
Anything.
Right. Wouldn't it be a greenhouse?
Well, some of them think it was actually ice that only let the heat in, but not the UV rays. Something to do with frequencies. Yeah. Eric Hovind stuff.
Yeah, I mean, water does downgrade all the UV rays and stuff. So I guess, sure.
Well, they've had 2,000 years to come up with these explanations.
It just, you know, it just took the raw blast furnace that is the sun's solar wind. It just, you know, didn't melt the ice, just got blasted. Yeah, and it even though there was a very warm atmosphere underneath the ice shell, it just never poked through. I mean, the light went through, but the heat never transferred. Amazing.
Good news, though.
I want some firmament.
The hole in the ozone layer over the Antarctic is shrinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe the
ozone can replenish. Yeah. The hole in the firmament is shrinking.
I prophesied before the show that I'd have to pee, and it came true. And I prophesied it would happen within the 2 hours, and I did. Dude, I am a better prophet than most of the Bible prophets.
You were also very specific.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
No vague prophecies.
True prophecy. Here's the author Stoic. See, this is the problem with these kinds of people. You get someone who concisely gives a legitimate argument, and you get nothing in return. Fucking typical.
The supernatural that the supernatural is required to produce something out of nothing?
Yeah, that was what they. Yeah,
What-
that's
what-
So because
no
we
one's
did not
saying that something was created out of nothing. So your premise
Yeah,
was,
first,
was
yeah.
totally wrong.
so we didn't grant.
That has to be
This is what I'm
demonstrated
saying.
He was straw manning our position, and you can't
Correct.
do that, man. That's a logical fallacy.
correct.
So because we didn't grant them the nothing, and they had to admit that there was something there. Now we're fucking typical. Okay.
Yep. Anyway, why
Oh,
would you
he's
want
fucking
something?
typical as well.
Why would you want something void of God's goodness and mercy?
Because there's a
there.
3.
Why
in
did
it.
they spell mercy with a 3?
I don't know.
Because God's mercy is basically human suffering. We don't want any more of
Oh,
that.
right.
I mean, honestly, the real question is, why would you want anything but reality? I mean, are you going to live in a fantasy world your whole life? Like, at some point, you have to realize it's just not real. So, regardless of whether you like it or not, it's just not real. So you have to come to grips with that.
And where exactly is God's goodness being displayed right now? I'd like to look at that.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
To where do you point to show the goodness?
Mikey, you're awesome. Look at you driving people to like us. I love it. Thank you.
That's right.
Good.
I'll get very cranky.
Get some subscriptions, peeps. So let's get them on there. Let's see. I'm trying to
Thank you
see,
very much.
Bring those numbers up
scrolling as quickly as I can to find some good
like
questions.
Canadians with their elbows.
That's right.
Is it
Well, Ellen, you could always post the nasty ones.
talk about timing? Somebody literally said that. Hey,
Oh, Ollie says that all the time. That's the first thing he says when he pops in the chat. Elbows up, Canada.
Question. Let's see. Churches, temples from person impersonator. Churches/temples were the places that dealt with trade, especially foreign trade, so became money hoarders. That's partly how religion got so powerful. He who holds the purse strings. Okay. So
Absolutely. That's why
comment.
Jesus went in and flipped all the tables, right?
The nothing tables.
Yeah.
I am nearing the end here. I don't know if there's a question in here. Loved by above. There is a broad way and the narrow way. The way, Christ, opens the straight gate to walk through. Romans 9. Read how Jesus showed us back. Okay, you're just quoting scripture, not asking questions. Okay.
Blah, 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 blah.
We don't care about your book. We've all read it.
Dude, literally, it was like drilled into, like, I've read all that. Like, and that's the other thing. Stop assuming that atheists just haven't gone to church. We've all been to church like 50 times more than all of you. Like, you guys are the newbies coming in here trying to, like, rock in
I
here
went
with
to
your
Bible
fresh-
college. Like,
You know
I'm
what I
not an
mean?
idiot. about
Like,
this
we
stuff.
know
None of you all believed the right version, though. That was the problem. It's always the problem.
Sounds like Elliot needs to come on the show now, Mikey.
Sounds like it to me, too.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, sure. Anytime.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we'll have to set it up. I'll figure out a
He
way.
says that now, but I promise you, I gave him your invitation, told him to email you. Don't let him throw me
I don't remember.
It's okay. We're not out of space.
I think he's short circuiting now.
It's trying to communicate.
My Wi-Fi's going out. I think I might lose connection.
I'm going
What's happening
through a
again?
tunnel.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, here's a question, maybe. Belly butterfly effect. Was Moses hallucinating? I mean, did he part the water or just tripping? Oh, I think he's
You just see
joking.
that burning bush.
All right.
I think it's all just a mythology. So there you go.
Neil, is it? I think I've heard, not just read, but heard, that given the age we know, as far as we can know, evolution is possibly at the limit, give or take a day or two, to create what we are now given the speed. Well, good luck with that, man. I don't know what he's asking.
Speed. Hold on. I think
Come
that's
back
the
when you're
follow-up
sober.
to that.
They're
The first
British
thing I'm
or
trying to say is
Irish.
that evolution is at its peak, which is a claim. We don't know. We still watch and see evolution happening all the time. I think one of my favorite examples of modern day visible, observable evolution are the mosquitoes that during World War II, a lot of people were hiding in the subway in England. And the mosquitoes, humans at the time being their food source, would follow them into the subway. And the mosquitoes never found their way out of the subway. So generations later, there are separate species of mosquito now than the ones that were outside the subway that still exist, that didn't go down. So they're from the same origin, but they're two separate species, and they can no longer interbreed. And that's what evolution is. That's
There
a
you go.
modern day example of evolution.
Nothing better than tube mosquitoes.
Here's a good final comment because I don't see anything else from Lost Missionary. Very kind thoughts. Just the thought. You hosts are a different version of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, if only.
I got to complain about that. That's dope.
I named myself appropriately. I don't know about the other three gentlemen.
You did. You had yourself something up there. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, because I'm here. Hang on. Yeah, there you go. Tornado ruler.
A troll for somebody who was being a very douchebag.
That's too funny. So coming up on June the 5th, 7th, Neil, what's the date we picked? I forget. June 7th. June the 7th is Sunday. Neil and I are going to be together on Skeptic Haven Let's Talk episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So send your friends, send your enemies, send people who hate us and love God and hate God. I don't care. Send everybody. El Guapo, send them all. We're gonna have a great time. So we want some call-ins because call-ins are way more fun. So
Can we put up L Butterfly Effects question?
Oh, where's that? Oh, at the end here.
So what happened to my gills one?
Wait, you talking about Pop Galaxy Full of Stars?
No, one more up or two more up.
Huh?
Oh, here we go. El
There you go.
Butterfly Effect. What happened to my gills? We used to be in the water. Would have been handy to have kept them.
I know.
Oh, yeah, I
It
agree.
Used to be in the water.
Well, if you go by the fish coming out of the water and then everything evolving
it's
from
just-
that, then yeah.
That was a long ass time ago.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
almost 4 billion years.
you kind of still have them. The way your capillaries work in your lungs, it's kind of the same. But just know, L, even though you don't have your gills, you're carrying around a little bit of ocean with you everywhere you go because we are just bags of salt water that that walk around. We can't live in the water anymore, but we bring the ocean with us with our salty, wet blood, which is what we need to stay alive. So you're the ocean now. You're a portable ocean now. Your gills are just internal.
Well, I'm not sure how handy they actually would have been because, and I'm not a scientist and I don't know everything about fish, but my understanding of gills is that you can only breathe in the water with them, right? So if we had gills, we wouldn't be able to survive on land.
The water comes out of the mouth, but so you breathe in through the gill, the water comes out of the mouth. The gills absorb the oxygen
through the gills.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
the water runs over the gills, and then the little itty bitty capillaries inside the gill slits or whatever will pull oxygen. Yeah.
First, you need water. That was my point in order to
True. Yeah.
breathe, right? So
Unless you're a smoking fish. If you smoke as a fish, then your capillaries are done.
I guess
The volcanic vent.
we would have to like periodically jump in a bathtub and like always get to be able to breathe. So I think we evolved because of that. We just decided to be land animals, and I don't know. I personally would rather live on land than in the water.
I mean, your lungs aren't completely dry.
No, that either. Man, you're right about that. I was just saying.
So you have gills. They're internal.
They don't
work in water anymore. They have to make their own little liquid, but you still have them kind of.
There would have had to have been a transitional period where we kind of had both, right?
Sure, some sort.
Yeah. There was like amphibian stage.
I was watching a Hank Green thing about this because I always laugh about people because I think it's so funny that we carry the ocean around with us, and like even our eyeballs are shaped for water, right? Like everything about us is like a water creature that has decided to dry itself out, and it's very strange. But
sneezing would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
oh, God. Do fish sneeze? I have to look this up.
That's a good question.
Do fish sneeze? They have to, right?
I don't think they have to, but that is a good question.
Fish
I got sick the other day, and I had some kind of a virus, so I thought maybe it'd be cool just to use this. The Fix Me Stick. It's a virus removal device. So.
Oh, nice.
Full of viruses.
Shoved it in my nose, and that was it.
Can we use that for crystal too?
Yeah.
Google says fish do not sneeze in the human sense because they lack lungs and a diaphragm. But they do cough to clear their gills of debris or irritation.
Oh, there you go.
I
do have I don't know if you guys are planning to end this anytime soon, but I do have some recommendation for folks that are currently deconstructing or deconverting, if you will.
Yeah,
and you're
I was
having
working on
some
the ending, so
issues.
go ahead.
I highly recommend. You can find them online. Recovering from Religion, whom I'm an advocate for.
Yeah, good people.
They're awesome people, and you can find them recoveringfromreligion.org. And they have a lot of great people that are trained to talk with folks that are having issues with this sort of thing. So,
yep, no, I think that's great. In fact, if you go to unravelation.com, you can click on the links and resources, and you'll find a whole bunch of pages, things like recovery.org, and a whole bunch of them. You'll find different groups and different recovery centers and stuff like that. So I encourage you to go check that out.
That's fantastic.
That way, if you can't remember it, it'll be on there. So that's a good way to find it. So thank you.
I have the links at the bottom of every interview video that we do. The links are there as well.
Awesome. Yes, great. So the resources are plenty there. You just have to open your eyes.
Yep.
I appreciate you sharing that, man. Thank you. So I'm going to admit, I had a fun time tonight. This is great. We're going to have to do this again sometime.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
This was a lot of fun. In 2 Fridays from now, we are going to have David Green on, which is Dan Green's Christian brother. So he wanted to come on and share how he believes his faith is reasonable. So
wait, Dan Green?
Yes, the deconverted man.
Oh.
Yeah, the Christian version of him.
The Christian version. Yes. Reconverted man or something. I'm not sure where to call him.
The other side of the argument.
Yeah, the dark side. So that'll be a fun conversation, because we just had Dan on 2 weeks ago, I think. So we're gonna have David on.
Dan's good people.
2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, Dan's great. We had a great time with him. And then a few other things coming up. We'll talk more about them as we get closer. So, Mikey, final thoughts, man.
Everybody on the bin side, please come over and like and subscribe, please. Please. Thank you very much.
And anyone that watches ours also do the same thing.
Yes.
Correct. Get over here. And for all the people over here, come on over to the bin side if you want to get some accurate and fact-based non-corporate bot reporting on the news in this Christo-fascist state that America is becoming. Give us a like and subscribe, and we go live probably, I think, 10 times a week. So throughout most of the week, you're going to find a show over there. Something will tickle your fancy. And we'd love to have you.
Awesome. By the way, in the info, you'll find all the links to Mikey's channels and all of Neil's links as well to everything he does. So just look he's got the link tree down there. So check that out. Absolutely. Neil, any final thoughts for everybody?
Well, I think I said it once already during the show, is God is a scam. Don't be a victim. All right.
Yep.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Also,
absolutely.
Our upcoming guest this Saturday on the 28th of February, we have Detroit Atheist Queen. That's Kelly, or Ms. Kells King. She's amazing. She'll be on the show with Mikey and I. And the first Saturday of every month, Mikey and I like to build stuff out of Lego. And as you can see, I've got lots of boxes of Lego here. There's even more off camera. So even little tiny Superman can tell you that that's a fact. There you go.
Does he know everything?
Little tiny Superman? He knows all the little tiny facts.
He only knows this much.
But we do an episode first Saturday of every month called Bricks Beyond Belief. So we talk about all kinds of things, whether it be religious, political, pop culture, doesn't matter, music, whatever. We talk about all kinds of things while I busy myself putting something together out of Lego, and everyone can watch me build it. And Mike and I think before the next Bricks Beyond Belief, we're going to go, and I'm going to try and add the second camera. I got all the gear for it now, so Mike and I'll figure that out. You might be able to see it from 2 angles. So, yeah. And we got lots of people coming back to the show, like Jim Barrows and Stephanie Helms, Infidel, our friend Jenny, who has now been diagnosed with terminal cancer. So we're hoping that she's around long enough for the April 18th date. She's amazing. She's a trans woman, but she's an amazing lady. And and we got Jimmy Jr. coming up on the 14th, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of really good people coming up, and we're still looking to book people. So if you have a deconversion story and you want to share it with Mikey and me, you can hit me up at 604atheist@gmail.com.
Yes.
There you go.
And that link is in the link as well. So,
well, there you go.
So I think you have it in the link. Yep. So I have to ask you guys this before we go, because you did it to me, and you're going to do it to Elliot. So Elliot, you don't need to answer this because you're going to have your chance when you interview on their show. But
Okay.
I need you guys to each tell me, if you went back in time and had to tell yourself something, what would that be?
Stealing our shtick, are you?
Yeah.
Because ever since then, I was like, I wonder what they would say.
What does this taste? My own medicine? If I could go back, it's paprika. I would definitely reach down ethereally over little Mikey, and I'd be like, dude, you're gonna be fine. You're right. You're gonna be fine. Because they want you to be scared, and they want you to lose your community, and they want to ruin music for you and make all of these things that are part of just the human experience toxic based on their religious practices. You don't have to believe any of that stuff. You can keep what you like. I'm gonna keep liking music, even though I don't want to do your gospel anymore.
Absolutely.
So, that's powerful. I like
trust the music.
I don't know. It's a harder one for me because I was never really a firm believer in any of it, really. I think maybe when I was small, maybe like 6, 7, 8 years old, I was like, I would talk to God, I think. I remember as a kid. But nothing ever happened. So I never really held a firm belief in any deities. I just sort of fly by the seat of my pants on that sort of thing. So I probably would go back to a time when I was quite young and was doing the silly things like talking to God. I'd probably say, this is not worth it. Just stop and continue to go through your life as if none of that shit is real. And maybe I wouldn't have gone through the whole Wicca thing of the other pagan beliefs, or, But, I'm not going to say I regret any of it, because there was some fun had during those times, right? So, I mean, a lot of Wiccans believe in raising a cone of power by having sex. So it's like, who might argue? So, so it was a lot of fun was had, but did I linger into it and keep that shit? No. I finally eventually just said, no, that's it.
Right on. Yeah, I can honestly say, like, my past as a Christian, which was 42 full years of my life, I'm like split evenly, really. It depends on what day you ask me. Some days I'm just so fucking angry that I wasted 42 years of my life, engaging in shit that just didn't fucking matter to life, and instead of learning things that could actually benefit the world, I was like, had my nose in the Bible. But then the other side of me is like, well, because of that, I'm actually able to help people now. And I have the tools and resources that make me understand their worldview extremely well, and I can actually, benefit the world now. So, and like you said, there was some good times and everything wasn't horrible, but
sure.
But yeah, boy, do I go back and forth, because I just think about what my life could have been.
I don't think like that, though.
No, it's hard to know, man.
And I want to slightly amend my answer because I was talking to the people in the chat. I think this is good too. You aren't broken. They're wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like there's nothing wrong with you. These people have no idea what they're talking about, so don't listen to them. Yeah,
any belief system that tells you you were born a sinner and born broken, you should get the hell out of right away.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine.
Yeah,
they're just trying to control you.
That is the worst thing that ever happened in this world, is this declaration of making you a sinner. Like, God.
Yeah,
man,
who invented sin, you little weirdos? Where do you go in the chat? Get back here.
If you're in any other relationship in your life and it was like that, that's an abusive relationship. Get out.
Certainly is. It certainly is. Elliot, any last thoughts?
Elliot's got
since I can't answer the question, I guess.
I know.
What's that?
You've got this film noir thing. You got the slats. In your
Yeah, it's so
There's
fucking
nothing there's
cool.
nothing I can do about that fucking window.
It's awesome though. Like it's like I need that.
Smash it.
Well, we usually have our live streams at about 1:00 my time, and so this is not a problem. But this late in the day,
I'm gonna put a floodlight
Cool
outside
effect.
my own office window just so I can get the slits of light coming in. Gotta recreate
I like this
it.
Miss LB in the chat. To most religions, I'm an abomination. Yes.
Yeah, right.
I love me some Gina. Gina's great.
Elliot,
We gotta get Gina on the show.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
any thoughts? Close us out.
Sorry, we interrupted.
I wish I had something, but it's been 2 hours. My brain's gone. So
We
good
have that
talk.
effect on people.
We wore
all
them
good.
out.
Hopefully we can find a way to do this again with the four of us because I had a lot of fun. So thank you guys again for joining us. As we always say, every Christian has their own version of Christianity. We're here to unravel your conversion. Have a great night, everybody.